Hello, Alycats and viewers. So today is episode 3 of the Inside Alyssa White series, which this series is where my subscribers and viewers can ask me questions in the comment box down below. So I'll just get started and start answering your questions. And the first one's by Haley. Is it Bowen or Bowen? Let me know because it's going to bother me if I don't know. But she asks, if I were able to travel for a meet and greet, where would I go? I would love to go to so many different places. I love to travel. I would love to go back to Los Angeles. I'd love to go to New York City. I would love to go to Paris and England and Canada. There's so many places I would love to go for a meet and greet. And hopefully I will one day be able to go. But there's just so many places. I mean, I love it so much. I love to travel so much. I love to experience different cultures and different ways of living. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in traveling for meet and greets. Definitely. If I ever get big enough to do that, of course. But yeah, those are the places I really want to go to. Next up is RSCraft281, and his question is, what is your favorite JRPG? And my favorite JRPG is Tales of Vesperia, and he also asks, what is your favorite Western RPG? My favorite Western RPG would probably be Fallout 3. I love Fallout 3. I sunk over 100 hours into it. I love the post-apocalyptic wasteland. I love the really weird enemies. I love the funny dialogue. The ending wasn't all that great, but I loved the DLC to the game. I loved everything about it. And I also really enjoy The Witcher 2 Assassin of Kings, but it's not really a Western RPG. It's a Polish RPG, which a lot of people don't consider that to be Western, so I don't know. But the RPGs I love most are Tales of Vesperia, The Witcher 2, and Fallout 3. Sugar Candy, who is adorable, asks, have I played Little Big Planet 2, and if so, what did I think about it? I haven't played the second Little Big Planet. I played the first one, and I thought it was adorable. I loved how you could customize your character. I loved making my little sack girl look super adorable. And I loved how the environments were made out of like real world materials. But I didn't really enjoy the game itself. I didn't enjoy the platforming aspect of it because it seemed like the controls are floaty and not precise. And for me to enjoy a platformer, the controls have to be very precise, and it has to feel like I'm actually connecting with the game and the platforming, and it just didn't feel like that to me. I don't know if the second game improves that or not, so if it does, let me know in the comments down below and I'll give it a shot. Next up is my friend Mario and Sonic 1986. Yay! I love him. His first question is, have you played any Super Nintendo RPGs? Which, no, I haven't, because I've never had a SNES and never played a SNES. And second question is, which games did you anticipate the most but you were disappointed in them? I was really looking forward to Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, which is not a bad game at all. It just seems more like a demo to me. Which, I mean, it basically is. It's a prologue to the Phantom Pain, which comes out maybe next year. We don't really know, but Ground Zeroes just didn't feel like a Metal Gear game to me. It just didn't. It didn't have that flavor, and that kind of disappointed me. And I was also really disappointed by Killer is Dead, which I know a lot of people love that game, but to me, it just didn't live up to Grasshopper Manufacture's previous games. I loved Shadows of the Damned, and I loved Lollipop Chainsaw, even though they had their flaws. But I loved their humor, and I loved the stories in them. But Killer is Dead, the story really wasn't there, and the combat was very repetitive. I enjoyed the soundtrack and the beautiful artwork of the game, but overall, Killer is Dead just left me wanting more. And also, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is not a bad game at all, like I said, but I'm a huge Platinum Games fan, I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, and it just didn't feel like either of those to me. It just felt like a hack and slash game, and it became very repetitive besides the boss fights. The boss fights were awesome, but the overall gameplay was just very repetitive. And I know a lot of people like that game as well, and I'm sorry if I offended you, but they kind of disappointed me, so just being honest. And his last question is, which games do you think are underrated for any system? I'm actually going to make a video about that, so I'll answer your question in the video. But yeah, I'm super excited to make that video. I really am. And Red Moon Rising 24, whom I adore, you should definitely check out her channel if you haven't yet. She says she's looking to grow her PS2 collection, and what are my all-time favorite PS2 games? Well, my all-time favorite PS2 games, I love the Blood Rain series. She plays a vampire. You go around, it's hack and slash, but it's really cool because you do these really gory execution moves and you have to feed on people's blood to restore your health, and it's just really freaking sweet, and I love it. So you should definitely check out the Blood Rain games. Bloody Roar is a really good fighting game that you transform into animals as your special move, basically, and it's just really fun. I've had so much fun with that game, that franchise, so much, so definitely check out the Bloody Roar franchise as well. And I know you like shooters, so I would check out Black. Black is very, very tough, but it's a really good first-person shooter, and, you know, it's just so unique because not a lot of shooters took that route back then, I don't believe, unless I'm missing a game, but Black is really, really tough. I mean, save points are scarce, and you basically, it's just, oh, it's really hard, but it's so good. And of course, I love the Devil May Cry games, but they're available as an HD upgrade now on the new last-gen consoles. So, if you'd like to play them on PS2, you pick them up, but you can play them as an HD upgrade on the PS3 and 360, so those are my favorite PS2 games. And let's see, did I prepare? No, I didn't prepare. Okay, JW Finn asks, have I played Final Fantasy X HD Remaster yet? Yes, I have. I've played about an hour of it so far, and I really enjoy it. I like the combat system, I like the characters, the game is gorgeous, I love the soundtrack, I love everything about it. So I'm super pumped to play the rest of it and to move on to Final Fantasy X-2, which I've heard isn't as great, but you know what? I'll make my own decisions about it. But right now, I'm really, really loving Final Fantasy X, which I know an hour in a Final Fantasy game is not a lot to go on, but I'm enjoying it so far. And now moving on to Jason Lee's questions, who Jason Lee is a very loyal Alycat, so thank you. He asks, what game have you played that has the best in-game music? There's several that have really good soundtracks. The Devil May Cry series has an amazing, like, metal rock soundtrack that I just loved to hear when I was playing the games, like, especially during the boss battles. The music was epic. And the Tales of series has some really great music as well. Each game is just full of charming, you know, ominous sounding music that is just awesome, and it gets stuck in your head. I mean, oh my gosh, I had the Tales of Vesperia theme song stuck in my head for forever. And lastly, the Final Fantasy franchise has a ton of great music, a ton, which if you've played Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy on the 3DS or the Vita, it's got some really great music, and that's what piqued my interest in the Final Fantasy franchise to begin with. Well, besides people recommending it to me as well, but definitely check out Devil May Cry, Tales of games, and the Final Fantasy games soundtracks because they're amazing. He also asks, who's my favorite band/artist? That's really, really hard because I love a lot of musicians. Like, there's so many musicians that I'm just a huge fan of that I can't pick a favorite. Like, I don't know how many I love. I love so many different musicians. I love so many different genres, and you know, I basically love a musician in every genre, so it's kind of hard to pick. Now, one of my, like, all-time favorite bands is, like, Def Leppard, and I really like Journey as well. But those are very old school, and currently, like, these days, I can't really pick a favorite band, but Def Leppard and Journey were really awesome back in the day, and so is AC/DC. And also, his last question is, what made you want to start making YouTube videos? I just was watching people like Tobuscus and Miss Munica and Olga K, and I thought, maybe I'll just throw a video up on the internet and see how it does, which I did, and I became addicted, and it's been one of the most rewarding, one of the most discouraging, one of the hardest things I've ever done. I love YouTube. I love the sense of community. I love being able to interact with my Alycats. I love, you know, seeing other people's videos. But, you know, it's also been very discouraging because there's haters and there's impersonators and, you know, all that. But the pros outweigh the cons for me. I love to do this. I love to make videos. I love the challenge of making a video, editing it, and putting it out there for people to either love or hate. And it's just a very risky venture, which actually I'm planning on making a tips on surviving YouTube video soon. But, yeah. That's what made me want to start. I was just watching other people and was just inspired, I guess. And Gotta find some more because am I prepared? No. The last 3 questions are by Razor5313, who I adore. I know I've said I've adored several people, but I really do adore them. So, there. They ask, let's say we meet. Which 5 games would we play? I don't really play a lot with people. I don't know, I'm very solitary, but I would say probably Borderlands 2, a Bloody Roar game, Injustice Gods Among Us, Charlie Murder, and, maybe Grand Theft Auto 5 online? Yeah, there we go, 5 games. I had to think. The second question is, if you ever create a game, what would be the name of it? Ooh, that's hard. You're asking really hard questions. I like it. But, I don't know. If I create a game, it'd probably be like a vampire game, because there's not really a lot of vampire games out there that don't suck. Ha, pun not intended. But I'd probably make like a vampire game where it's really dark and gritty and gory, and it's got RPG mechanics, and you know, you could be a female or male vampire, but it's just like this really complicated story, and with beautiful graphics. I don't know what I'd call it. I'll have to think about that, because that's a really tough question, but that's a really good question too. I love these kinds of questions that make me think. And the last question is, can I get a shout out from you? Of course you can! So I'm giving a shout out to my friend Razor5313. They are an excellent Alycat, and I just adore them to death. So thank you for being an awesome Alycat, Razor5313, and I love to see your comments on all my videos. So I just love you so much. Peace and kisses. There you go. I hope that was good. And those are all the questions this week. If you'd like to ask me questions about anything, as long as it's not too personal, feel free to. You can ask me about games, music, movies, TV shows, my favorite superheroes or villains, cats, fashion, food, if I'm a robot, yeah, ask anything. And as always, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, because you know what, I really don't know why you haven't subscribed yet. Alycats are awesome people. We have fun here. We have fun. And you know, there's lots of geekiness going on. At least in my mind, there's geekiness going on. So hit the subscribe button today and bring a smile to my face. That was a really creepy smile. And favorites to your friends and family, and you know, people on the internet can see. And share me as long as you do it nicely. That's all I ask. And remember, I love each and every one of you so much. And you mean the world to me. Peace and kisses. Bye.